Do you ever wonder how is it like to bring all the wonders in the world in one tabletop game? This is it. This is World Wonders by Arcane Wonders. How many wonders is that? 4?
Yes.
5?
Which is well short of the 20-odd, which are represented with cute little
game.
tokens in this game.
Indeed. And hello everyone, I'm Stella and this is Tarrant from Meeple University. Today we are going to give you a quick overview and then review of World Wonders. This game I picked up from Gen Con 2023 and it is going to be, I believe, available at Ascent 2023 as well.
So World Wonders is essentially a tile drafting and tile placement game, or a joint market type of thing. So there is a turn order track. It's a very important part of the game. And on each turn you have 7 coins that you can spend. And you spend them primarily on tiles that you will then place onto your map. So here, for example, this little L-shaped building, it would cost me 2 coins. This one would cost me 3, all the way up to this one, which would cost me 5. As you go into higher player counts, there are some extra shapes which come into play as well. You can buy roads, which can be either long roads or a set of short roads. You can buy a tower. You can buy positions in turn order for next round, and you can buy wonders. Really, where the crux of the game comes in the tile placement rules. So there's some interesting little rules, and it's they're quite particular, they're quite specific. So when you place roads, you can place them next to your sidewalk, which is down the bottom of the board, or next to some other road. That road would cost me 1 coin, for example. When you place a building, you can place it next to a road, like so. Or you could place it next to another building of the same type. And I don't have any of them out there, but if I had another market, for example, I could start to build that market outwards without having extra roads. At some point, you might block out your ability to continue building buildings out because you might not have enough roads. And that's where the towers come into play. You can spend 2 coins to build a tower, and then from that tower, that becomes a jumping off point for another road, and therefore you can start building further buildings further out on your map.
And tower can be next to anything, any tiles of things.
Just has to be next to something. Every time you place one of these buildings, you advance on these 3 tracks. And as you move up and along these tracks, suppose I built this library here, that would give me 2 cogs and 1 vase. Every time you hit one of these icons, you gain a population. And so once everyone's out of money, I stopped paying money here when I was demonstrating, but once everyone is out of money, buildings will get swept out, new buildings will come out, and the game will play over up to 10 rounds, or once somebody has maxed out their population track. Then probably the most fun part of the game, and certainly the cutest part of the game, is the wonders. So you'll see we've got 3, there's a deck full of wonder cards. We've got 3 of them out here. Here, for example, we've got Machu Picchu. We've got
building
for me. Suppose we're a couple of rounds off.
Yep.
We've got Machu Picchu. We've got the Great Pyramids there. Each of these.
Yeah, no, that's
Try to
like,
make
oh
it
no,
work.
that's
There we
not
go.
good. Try to make it work, yep.
Yep. So each of these has some requirements. It has some space it has to cover. It tells you whether it is got to be on water or on land, because we've got like the Lighthouse of Alexandria and some cool things like that. And it tells you what it has to be placed next to. So Machu Picchu is a huge wonder that gets placed next to at least 2 farms. To take a wonder, you have to pay all of the money you have left for this round. So if you leave it late, it's only going to cost you a coin. But if you want to get it before other players jump in, then you're going to have to spend a little bit more. And then these are worth some direct points, and in some cases icons and so forth. And really that is the game. These are constantly getting replaced. And they range from simple little things, the Trojan horse here, it just has to be adjacent to a road and a habitation, but some of them, like the Colosseum, the Great Pyramids, these are huge. They have some very particular requirements. How do you score? So the points come from the wonders. They come from building up these 3 tracks evenly, so you will score points for the lowest of your 3 tracks. If you've pushed your population up into the end, you score some points for that. There's all these natural resource icons all over your board, and as long as you build something adjacent to it but don't cover it, you are allowed to cover it, but if you build something adjacent to it without covering it, you get a point. And each of your buildings that is completely surrounded by non-land spaces,
Pre-printed is okay.
yep, will also score a point. So if for example, does that fit? That doesn't work. Let's suppose I run out of things.
Just
Let's
get another building.
pretend I built this. Pretend I built that there.
Yeah.
Pretend I built that there. Pretend that's legal. This is now surrounded, so that would be worth
It is legal. It's next to the tower. The road is legal.
Yeah, it was that wasn't legal.
Okay,
It's a simple drafting. It's basically a drafting game with some price to pay, but you always get the money back from round to round. Turn order becomes important because if you push for early spots, if you're running ahead, then you may get the worst tiles. If you push for turn order though, or pay for turn order, then you can start grabbing them early.
Yep. So the question is, which of these wonders have you been to? I don't think I have been to any of these. Right? Like, I haven't been to Machu Picchu. I haven't been to Chichen Itza, Trojan House, the pyramid. That is so sad. Like, there's a few of them here. I'm going to share you.
I've been to the Parthenon, I think. I've been to Athens,
Yeah?
so I must have been to the Parthenon.
So
Is
the
that
Port
in
of
Athens?
Carthage, Thimu Pagoda, Roman Bridge, Angkor Wat, Easter Gate, Moai, Hippodrome. I'm saying it probably wrong. Totally Petra, the Great Wall of China, the Parthenon, obelisks, Chitano G Pagoda,
Lighthouse of Alexandria.
and the Aqueduct and the Colosseum. I haven't been to any of those. And there's also a theatre in Ziggurat.
I've been to a theatre.
Oh, a theatre, not this theatre.
Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say that to a theatre. Well, I've been, but not this particular one. So yeah, which one have you been
Serves
up
the game
to?
right for not being more specific.
So this is why all the wonders in one table. This is the closest one I've been to all wonders at the same time, right?
Yes.
I thought there are more wonders, but you know, I guess there are limited amount of pieces that you can do. So all these pieces are
A very
really
good
cute.
expansion opportunity as well.
That's correct. I was like, I originally from Indonesia, and I want the Borobudur temple. I call it Candi Borobudur. Borobudur temple was in there. I thought at some point.
Is that the one that's in the 2 halves? Is that?
This.
Because you could have a good placement rule for that. in this game
Yeah, I
as well.
know. No, not those one. I don't think. There's a few temples there as well, and look at this. It's like it's wonders. The wonders is just such a wonders. Anyways, speaking about wonders, what I like about I'll start with the like one and the least that I like out of this game. What I like about it is this track, especially the money track. It's just sometimes such difficult decisions to, okay, you want to get the tiles that you want, or you want to chase for these wonders. So although the wonders get you some points, get you some benefit, but it's not the most things that you can get in this game. I mean, it's like slowly build sort of thing, but you really want to get the wonders because you've built just the right combination of tiles and position. You kind of like want to get it, and then, but you can always look around. It's easy to see who is able to get it, and you can see as well what tiles available that round, whether that person can get it or not, and then go get it. Like, you know, if you are really competing with somebody and you really want to get it, you might need to just like, okay, I'll just have to cut it loose and then get all of these.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance, right? They're not, you know, it feels like the game is going to be all about them. If you're buying one each round or most rounds for 1 coin, then that is going to be your most efficient set of points. But there's lots of other ways to get points. It's not going to be all of your points. And they're sitting there looking very sexy and very enticing.
Very shiny.
But there are other things you've got to build towards as well. And it's nice.
Yeah. And the other things that I like is this, obviously the track. You get the points from the least advanced track. It's always interesting if you have, well, other games, I can't really think of anything, but you know, the least point is it's your points. It's like, oh, okay, so you have to generalize on everything. You can't really just like go in 1-1-1. You have to look at all of your tracks. Beside the cute things in here. Now, the list that I like, and it's nothing to do with the game. It's all to do with me, is that my spatial rotation incapabilities. So, and the second one is related to probably anyone's that just started the game. So the first one is like, I can't really rotate properly. Let's just say I'm not good at Tetris, right? So I was like, I can't really imagine rotating it in my head. So sometimes I just have to grab it and then try it. And that, I think, kind of like stretch out the time for other people, because I usually take my time and I feel guilty for it. And I take my time to actually do my turn.
And it also means people can see what you want as well.
Correct.
Which means they can snaffle it up from under you.
Yeah. So sometimes I was like, can you all close your eyes? And I'm gonna just like try before I buy. So I'm just trying it here. But then I want to see if this other person will fit it there or not. I can't really try it, and they bought and that sort of thing. And the second one is related to this one. So the first time you play, it's like, what? It needs to be not... something needs to be next to what? That actually takes me a while to just like, okay, this is legal, this is illegal. So sometimes it's possible to accidentally play something illegally. Yeah. And that happens not just for me, it's for other players as well.
Yeah, they're good rules. I like those rules.
Yeah.
They're not super intuitive rules because they're not
easy to remember.
They're not commutative from a mathematical standpoint. So you can put building next to road, but not road next to building. These are things that you have to remember and internalize. Yeah. But I really do like that set of rules. I think it's once you grasp it, it's simple enough and adds enough. It adds enough sequence to the way you've got to take your actions.
And the game is not really that complex. It's simple. It finish in like 10 rounds or until somebody reach maximum populations. So overall, it's a great game. It's just my inability to do that part of the game. What do you think?
Yeah, what I like here is that there is enough fear in the actions. There's enough fear that people are going to take what you want.
Oh my God, I'm so scared. Is he going to take it? Are you going to take it? Are you going to take it? Like that.
And I think you need that in a drafting sort of game like this. You need to have... You need to know, all right, well, that's...
difficult decision.
That's what I want. Do I have to spend more money to get my wonder, or do I have to grab a tile of a certain colour because I don't know if it's going to come out next time around? Do I go for first player so I know I'm going to get the top farm because I'm behind on farm? How early do I pick that? So that is... it has that fear and that timing, and I always talk about this in these things. Whenever any sort of worker placement, things like that, I like to have to worry about what to do first. That's what makes these types of games fun for me. So your game is not going to be destroyed by being in the wrong order here, but it will probably cost you a couple of points each time, and that will build up as it goes along. So I really like that at a game at this. It's a very light to medium difficulty point, but I think that works really neatly.
There's one thing that I think is quite clever is the borrowing money mechanic. So if you want, you can borrow money. It was like 2 or 3. You
can borrow 2 coins. That's why this track goes up to 9. So you can borrow 2 coins. You would have to pay 3 coins to pay it back, or lose 2 points if you don't. So it gives you that one opportunity to stay around or get a couple of really big ones in a round that counts. And that's also good. It also adds that extra little bit of
fear,
strategy, and then fear that someone else might go and do it.
But how many of those can you actually have? Like, I'm a little bit scared to have that, like, whatever, I can't pay it. But it's actually a really good thing because there are other turns that is quite weak, and then you can't really get, or you don't want to get things that you want, things that you need. You just pay it alone. Then, bang.
Yeah, you can have 1 loan at a time.
1 loan only.
2 coins for 2 points. It's unlikely that you're going to get 2 points out of a single action like that. So it is probably going to hurt if you don't pay it back at the end, unless you really find that perfect combo.
I heard that this was Kickstart or crowdfunded somewhere. I think it's probably not the English American based one. I could be wrong. If that's the case, did you back it? Are you going to pick it up at Essen?
Each of the boards has a second side which has this one's everyone has the same lake. The other side is everyone has a different river. It adds, this one is quite interesting because it also means at some point you have to build a bridge over the river using one of the long, either using a long road or using like the aqueduct or something like that. So, and for it to be efficient, you might have to go across in multiple paths. So I really do like what the river adds to the game. Yeah. Just in terms of a little bit more complexity on your board.
And you have to build road from here or next to another...
A tower or another road.
A tower or another road, yes.
Yep. And you can also play with common objectives, another way of scoring a few little points. This is most wonders, this is most points for natural resources, most stuff on water, most libraries, and so on. So various little, if you like to create a run, it adds that fear again. It creates a run on certain things. Like here, the Agricola one, you want to get as many farms as possible, so it creates more demand for farms. All nice things that just make this interaction all the more interesting.
If you find that useful, by the way, please hit the like button, comments, ask us about anything that you like, maybe the games that you just played, and subscribe to see more. So, question is now, any other games that is similar to this one? Is there any games that you've played? I'm sure, there's a lot of tile placement, polyomino games. This combines with the track advancement and track comboing, and then that fear of missing out. FOMO. It's totally FOMO. It's a FOMO game. I call it a FOMO game. Anything else you want to share about the game, Tarrant? Is that, there's different shape as well for different number player counts?
Yep, so to bring those ones in, again, it goes up to, you get another small one at 4 players, and then you add another big one at 5 players.
Yeah.
There's some solo cards as well, so you can compete against a bot.
I can tell you though, buying first and second player, there are other games that I simply ignore. It doesn't matter, but this one, it's quite important because you can push back and then you just don't get the things that you want, and then you can't really compete properly because, you gotta have to build up to the requirement first, get the right tile, get the road to gain the wonders.
Yeah, and it's got this natural catch up where whoever's got the most population and therefore has been going up on this track goes back in turn order unless you buy to go forward in turn
That's right. I was stuck near the start somehow. I've got quite plenty of populations. I didn't buy the first or second turn order, and then I just keep pushing back last again. But anyway.
Yeah, and often it's more about the turn you have to spend getting it rather than the money because it's quite cheap.
Yeah, true. Wonders, check it out. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye.